OSB. Welcome back. We're doing our third episode of the podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Courtney, and I hope you all had a great spring break.
So how was your spring break?
It was awesome. I went to Cali.
Oh, I'm jealous.
What did you do?
I worked all week long.
That's not a good time.
It's awful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all.
I bet a lot of students were right along with you.
Oh, I'm sure. Last week, there was a job fair before the spring break, so we went down to the SAC and interviewed some of the students about their worst jobs. So let's take a look at that clip and see what they had to say.
Yep. See their responses.
Yep. Let's go. What is your worst job you've ever had?
Worst job I ever had. I was working at a restaurant. It's always so busy. And I work to the max.
Well, they do have the job fair going on today. To do anything like that. So, we would like to know, what is the worst job that you ever had?
Working in food is definitely the worst that I've had.
Where did you work at before?
I worked in the mall.
So that's probably one of the worst ones.
Yeah, it's so.
What do you feel like you're going to get out of with the career fair?
Hopefully an internship, maybe a career job.
What's your dream job?
To be away from here. Where it's a lot warmer.
That sounds about right, yeah. What is your worst job ever?
I worked at Potato Creek as a housekeeper, so cleaning up bathrooms and the cabins.
Yeah.
That's pretty disgusting.
So, what do you think you're going to get out of the career fair?
I don't plan on graduating for another 2 years, so hopefully just like ideas on where I'd want to work, or maybe like a part-time job or internship in the field that I'm going into for my majors.
What are you going into?
Say marketing and advertising.
Thank you.
What's the worst job you've ever done or had to do?
I would say probably when I would have to babysit and the parents don't discipline their children at all, so then they act like total brats.
What's the worst thing that they've ever done?
Probably throwing food on the walls and I didn't know how to get it off.
Okay, would you rather have to clean toilets or pick up animal poop?
Pick up animal poop.
Would you rather have to walk 10 dogs at the same time or shovel your entire neighborhood?
Ooh. Probably walk 10 dogs at the same time. I have a big neighborhood and it's like 3 of them connected, so that would take a while.
What was the worst job that you've ever had or done?
Actually, it was construction. I did construction for 1 day and then quit.
Why'd you quit after 1 day?
Because of just the intense labor that I didn't realize came with it. Plus, like, the guys that I was working with were very inappropriate with jokes they were making throughout the day.
Okay, so...
Much like Chelsea Hunter.
Would you rather be Kim Kardashian's assistant or work at the landfill?
I'd probably be her assistant, I guess.
Okay. Would you rather be a truck driver or a flight attendant?
Probably a flight attendant.
Why?
Because you get to, I like flying over water and you can like see everything. I don't think I'd like to be a truck driver because I'm not the world's greatest driver.
Wow, a lot of food workers.
I've had my fair share of food jobs, I'll tell you that.
What did you work at before?
Oh, I worked at Scotty's, I worked at Gianetto's, I worked at Tony Sacco's, worked at Bonefish.
So you just go get the food for free?
Pretty much. I worked there for a few months.
Wow. Which one was the worst?
Well, I worked at Dairy Queen in high school. Made it 2 days. I got a whole bunch of free ice cream, got like a free cake.
That's what I would do.
Then they kept trying to make me clean stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not trying to do it. And actually, one time I went to make a blizzard and to put it in the thing, and it flew out. Yes. I forgot about it. So you just like hold it with both hands when you put it in there, and I didn't. It was like, it just flew out. Maybe that's why I didn't go back.
Didn't want to clean up the mess.
What was the worst worst job you've ever had?
Mine was probably Texas Roadhouse because I had to carry the rolls everywhere and I got grease all over my shirt. And then you had to buy a shirt after your first one, and I didn't want to, so I just walked around like a dirty, greasy person. So I didn't last long there either.
I don't blame you. I don't think we're meant to work in a restaurant.
No. So when me and Courtney aren't doing our podcast, we are actually working retail. And we have pretty awesome customer service, but there's some people that really test it.
Oh, they just get right under your skin.
It's just
Something you can do about it.
it's awful. So we're going to give you a few scenarios of what we're talking about because it's just completely awful.
You can probably all relate to a few of these, whether
Yes.
you work in retail or not.
Wherever you work, this is happening. So let's go. So when we sign you up for a loyalty card and ask for your last name, and it's short like Miller and you have to spell it out, but then you have a last name like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and you don't spell it out, it's kind of hard for me to get your last name right. Sorry.
So when a customer complains about waiting in a long line, and then they get up to the counter and then they write a check.
So when you ask the customer, what's your email? I don't have an email. What do you mean you don't have an email? For your smartphone, you had to have an email to sign it up. So you're lying. So quit lying. We don't like it.
Or when a customer walks in and you ask, "Hi, how are you today?" "I'm just looking." "Oh, really? Are you?"
So when I ask you, do you want the receipt in the bag or with you? And you say, yep, it's kind of hard to know where to put it. I have one idea.
When a customer walks out of the fitting room and they tell you, "Oh, I left everything in there for you." "You did?" Thankfully, we're all going to school to get out of these jobs.
Thank God. Way too excited.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of our podcast. Be sure to join us again next week.
Yep, it's going to be really good. Just follow us on the Preface Podcast. You can look at our previous podcast on Facebook and at the Preface website. So,
Thanks,
see
guys.
you next week.
See ya.
See ya.